Hi there, if you're a flute player and you would like to get faster progress on the flute, let me introduce you to the concept of learning proper technique to get you faster progress. So you learn the tweaks, the little adjustments of proper technique of how to do everything on the flute, and you will feel yourself and hear yourself improve so much more quickly than you've done before. My name is Jane Cavanagh. I'm a flute teacher, a professional flute teacher, and this is exactly what I teach in the Flute Academy, which is my online flute membership. In this video, you're going to learn 5 pro flute tips that are going to help you get faster progress. And of course, like this video and subscribe to the Flute Academy channel on YouTube, because that's going to mean that you'll get all the other pro flute tips as well. All right, let's go on to the first pro tip. Pro flute tip number 26 is how to learn to flutter tongue. Now, flutter tonguing is this. It's a bit of a party trick, but it is used in more contemporary modern flute music as an extended technique. But for me and most flute players, we just like to do it because it's fun. You can also use it in jazz and pop music if you're playing that on the flute too. We learn to flutter tongue in 3 steps. Step number 1 is that you learn it without the flute. So this is rolling your R's like you would in a language that has a R in the language, like Spanish, for example. So firstly, try and do this without the flute. And then after you've done that, try and whisper it. Okay, so step number 2 is to do the same thing but with a flute-shaped mouth, but no flute, like this. And then, of course, whispering it as well. Once you can do that, you're more likely to be able to do step 3, which is trying it on a note. You'll probably find that it sounds really rough, and that you have to blow really hard. That's okay. Your stage after that is just to refine it, smaller hole in your mouth, and you'll get a much better sound as well. So there you go. That is how to flutter tongue on the flute in a nutshell, in 3 simple steps. Share this video with someone that you think would like to learn how to flutter tongue on the flute, and of course, like this video. Hey, if you've just tried to learn how to flutter tongue in those 3 simple steps, but you would prefer to have a stronger, clearer sound to start with, join me at www.flute.school and join me for free in the mini course, because I'm going to show you in 3 simple steps how to adjust your embouchure, which gets you an instantly clearer, stronger sound on the flute. So I recommend you join me there, www.flute.school. Did I say it was free? Anyway, sign up and I'll show you how to get an instantly stronger sound. All right, let's move on to the next pro tip. Pro flute tip number 27. If you run out of air on the flute when you're playing, you run out of air way too quickly, this is why. If you're playing along and you need to breathe really, really frequently, and maybe you're even getting dizzy, there is only one reason why you're running out of air too fast. And it is because you are using too much air. And the reason that you're using too much air comes down to one of 2 things. You either have too big a hole in your mouth and air is escaping, so you need to breathe in more frequently to compensate for that. Or number 2 is that you're blowing too hard, and you're wasting air by just simply blowing too hard. Here's a demonstration of both those things. So if the hole in your mouth is too big, that was a perfect example because I really ran out of air and my high notes stopped working. That is if the hole in your mouth is too big and you're wasting air. That's why you need to breathe in so frequently. Instead, you would rather have a smaller hole in your mouth so that you can get through longer phrases. You'll get through much longer phrases by having a smaller hole and less air is being wasted. Here's a demonstration of what happens if you're simply blowing too hard. So maybe you actually do have a small enough hole in your mouth, but you're blowing too hard. So I just ran out of air there simply from blowing too hard, even though I had a small hole. And you can probably guess what the solution for that's going to be. Blow softer, refine your airstream. You'll have a much clearer sound and you'll be able to get through much longer phrases. Like this video and share it with someone that you know that plays the flute if you think that they might appreciate knowing how to get through longer phrases. Hey, before we go on to pro tip number 28, I have something for you. Would you like to learn how to learn? Would you like to learn how to play high notes the easy way, the proper way, the way that makes them come out so much more easily and sound so much nicer? Join me at www.flute.school/high notes for free, and I will show you exactly how to play high notes the proper way. So with proper embouchure technique, and it's the easy way. Pro flute tip number 28. Did you know that if you blow too hard when you're playing the flute, you might not even know that you're blowing too hard? A bunch of things happen that really are not good for your flute playing. I'll show you what they are. So instead of playing like this, maybe you're simply blowing too hard. And it sounds like that. What happens is you run out of air. Did you notice that the sound was a bit screechy? I got a little bit dizzy. You can't see inside my brain, so you didn't know that bit. And the sound was sharp. The intonation was sharp when I played just then because I was blowing too hard. Now, the proper way of playing high notes, just in a total nutshell, because this is what I take people through in the free mini course at www.flute.school/high notes. By all means, join me if you would like to. It's free. You'll learn this in more detail. So in a nutshell, instead of blowing so hard, obviously blow softer, but to get your high notes to come out, instead of blowing hard, instead of squeezing, all we do instead is have a little tiny ooh movement, a little tiny pout movement. And it means that you get to play high notes that actually sound beautiful. They sound beautiful. They're not sharp, you don't use very much air at all, and it is totally worth learning the pro way or the easy way or the proper technique way of playing high notes. Here is pro flute tip number 29. Do you ever find yourself squeezing for high notes? And it might sound or look something like this. And you get a thin sound. It doesn't sound very nice, and you can see that I'm sort of squeezing my face. If you find that you squeeze for high notes, you will also get a little bit fatigued. And I want you to know what to do instead. Instead of squeezing when you play high notes, I want to see if you can try and relax your mouth a little bit. Relaxing is the right way to play high notes, but there's a little bit more to it than that. So firstly, you'll relax and you'll find that you can't play high notes at all. And you'll go, okay, cool, I'm relaxed. And then nothing happens. Or you might find that you simply blow harder to try and get those high notes out. And then you'll be running out of air, you'll be getting dizzy, you'll be sounding sharp, all sorts of things. Instead, relax your mouth, make sure you have a small hole in your mouth, and simply think slight ooh, a little tiny pout for high notes. And you will easily get soft, beautiful sounding high notes. Here is pro flute tip number 30. Did you know that there is a very strange way to form a perfect embouchure on the flute? Even if you can already play the flute, this is worth doing because this is how I teach my absolute beginners, and it sets them up with a totally fabulous embouchure, mouth shape, forever in their flute playing. I'm going to reach into a little container here, and I have a grain of rice. This grain of rice, if you can see it, I'm going to put on the tip of my tongue, close my mouth, and then I'm going to spit this grain of rice, and the embouchure shape that you get from doing this is the perfect flute shape. See that? Perfect flute embouchure. By the way, if you try this yourself, you need to try it with quite a few grains of rice to be able to do that. But once you get it, Transfer that onto the flute. Or even just start here. You'll notice that when you spit a grain of rice, you are not too smiley, you are not too round, you have a perfectly small hole in your embouchure, which is exactly what you want for flute playing. You'll find that if you can play the flute with the same size hole as a grain of rice, you're going to have a fabulous sound because the hole is small enough and you're not going to run out of air too quickly. You'll have a strong sound and you'll get through long phrases. So go ahead and try it. Hey, you know how I just mentioned about using a grain of rice to get a perfect shaped embouchure for the flute? Well, there's another way you can get the perfect shaped embouchure for the flute. Even if you already play, go to www.flute.school and sign up for the free mini course, and I teach you in 3 steps how to tweak your embouchure, how to adjust your embouchure so that you get a really clear sound like this, instead of something fluffy like this, which is not great because it uses a lot of air. It makes me dizzy, it might make you dizzy, and you don't sound as good. So I'd love to see you in that free mini course at www.flute.school, and I will teach you how to instantly get a stronger sound on the flute. My name is Jane Cavanagh. I teach flute players just like you, adult flute players, how to get faster progress on the flute by learning the tweaks of proper flute technique. Subscribe to this Flute Academy YouTube channel if you would like to learn even more pro flute techniques. If you click the bell, you'll get notified of them as well. See you!